Now we're going to put a little bit of grease on the inner bearing race. I guess you'd call that an inner bearing race. Now I've already packed the bearings in the swing arm, and it's just nice to have both sides cooped up. You can always take it off when it's oozing out, if it's oozing out. Oh yeah, nice, very nice. Man, this ATC is in such good shape. I mean, it's cosmetically needed a bunch of attention, but other than that, it's just really in good shape. And there we are. Careful not to get anything on. And I'm going to do the same with this. And a little bit of grease into these little seals, and then put them on the end. And put that up in there. Fits in there pretty easy. Slip through. Beating everything up. This. Get all the goop off the end here. Get the adjuster in there. And then the little spacer. There you go. And the nut on the end. And the adjuster nut on the back. And we're all set there. First thing I needed to do was to restore this disc. So I taped it off, and I've got nice silver on it. It's all dried, so we can mount it to the hub. And I've got it all cleaned up. So let's put that on. And there it is on the hub. And we've got the rear shock all cleaned up. And the new stickers. Looking good. And the front fender. Front wheel. Everything all clean and beautiful. And the axle slides in. To go any further, I've got to rebuild the rear disc and paint it. And the shock's installed. And the reservoir. So I put in the sliders. And Chico is here. He was late today. Chico came in late because he voted. So, I don't know who he voted for. What do you think? Look at that dog and tell me who you think he voted for. I don't know. But anyway, he's telling me we got all the parts we need, so let's just put this thing together. Now I'm back to plating because I can't continue on without the nuts and bolts that I need. But this is really a good way to show you the difference in colors. And you can't do this if you ship it out. You just can't do this. You know, this is all custom. Different amounts of chromate. The 200X is mainly black. The bolts on the caliper. This is the rings that hold the front brake cable and so forth. That holds the back master cylinder hose, the brake line to the master cylinder, or to the from the master to the rear caliper. And these were all black on the 200X, but some of these are green. Not on the 200X, but, and I'm not talking about this. This is the rear tail lamp. And when you pull this one apart, you get a gold. So we go right back to that. Front headlight's black. And the shifter. You know, and it really gives it a really smooth, beautiful, plated finish. And on a Yamaha, these bolts here obviously are black, right? And on a Yamaha, they have a kind of a green hue to them, and that is achieved by just barely putting it in the black chromate long enough. And here you go. See, these are all black. These are the calipers. Now this is just a 83 that I have so that I can see what I'm dealing with. Sometimes you lose where you're at and forget what color they were after you've stripped them in the acid. As you can see, the silver is on the peg mount there, and silver right there on that linkage arm with the pins. The pin is silver. So all these little details, it's all about details. And you just can't get it if you ship the plating away. Because you really would ship it away and just have everything done in black, and then all of a sudden your taillight's not correct. And all the other bolts that are silver and so forth are not correct. So plating is really an important part of these restorations. Moving on to the headlight. So I've got plastic issue. It's a little faded. It's cleaned up pretty good. I've got a crack right here I need to fix. I've cleaned up all the hardware for the headlight. And you'll be able to see a before and after on this. And these are somewhat easy to clean up. There's some scratching on it. It's not going to go away completely, but it'll look good. And after our plating here, I just got to clean up these little rubber mounts. So with that, I'm going to start with the plastic. I've watched a lot of videos on how to do this, but I'm going to start with 800. I think you could use 600, but the 800, we're going to wet sand it, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. You can see a lot of the oxidation coming off of there. And at the end, I'm going to go just forward, backward on the sanding. There's a little on the side here, not as much on the top. So again, you can see all this oxidation. But what I did is I got this as a result. Look at that. Now you're never going to get these stress cracks. There's cracks in here, they're running along here, but with the shine I've got here, it's like, are you really, I mean, you do what you can because you can't find these, and if you do, they're just as beat up. So look at that. All right, so I'm going to show you the process. Die grinder and the little Scotch-Brite, and we're going to just get down to that nice color. Really, the color is all we're going to be able to get out in the shine. So just keep doing that. And the more you move around, the better, because it almost melts. So just work it. And I'm going to do this whole top. So I'll come back when I've got that done. Getting down there to where you can see these cracks. I'm actually getting those out, so. You can see I got it all that nasty stuff off of there. But you also can see that it's really rough. Well, so is this. So we start out with the, what is it, the 400, and just start wet sanding it, getting it all flattened out, get all those sanding marks out. And that's going to take a while, so I'll come back when that's done. Here it is, sanded and ready for the polish. Now these are different grit, and I'd stay away from that. It's a little too aggressive. And it's not that big a deal. And once it's polished, it's going to look great, but there's still a couple of scratches. But anyway, it's all going to look good. It's all sanded, all the oxidation's off. So let's see what it looks like after it's polished. Start with this. And there it is after the rubbing compound on it. And I've got some scratches here, but you know, I'm just not going to, I'm going to see what the polish does to it. Probably not a whole lot. I may try to get that out, but I'm not so sure if that hasn't gone down into a piece of plastic that isn't going to be able to be sanded out. But I doubt that. I just think that I haven't sanded this enough is what it is. But I mean, look at the difference in that from where it was. So now the polish. And I just put like 3 little dots on there. It doesn't take much on this little headlight. And there it is. And you can see this area here. I'm gonna have to do something with it. But the big thing is that it's shiny and that the corroded and oxidized plastic's all gone. So this is quite an improvement. And you put the new sticker here, it's gonna just pop. So I'll work on these and then we'll build this headlight. So we mount the headlight bracket with all the newly plated hardware. Looks really nice. And start the wiring harness. Goes over that little hump. And there's the headlight. And I've got it on here just temporarily because the wiring still isn't done. I've got to get the bars on and get the wiring going down the hole here. So that'll have to come back off, but it's looking really good. For as old as it is. So there's the headlight. And we'll move on to the tail light. Just put it together and then we'll mount it. And the tail light's all mounted. And the bars are mounted. And like they say in the manual, tighten this one first. The dot goes forward, so tighten these down, then tighten these. I'm probably going to have to readjust them anyway, but there they are. And the stickers on the front headlight. I ordered this off of Amazon. And for some reason when I plugged it in, it wouldn't let it run. So if I unplugged it, it would run. What I found out was this was backwards. Run was off and off was run. And I tried to get in there, see if I could get it. And it's just cheap. And I mean, I didn't pay much for it. So obviously I can't return it because it's way too long. You know how these things go with restorations. It just takes forever. So I'm going to rebuild the original one. And the original one, the switch would not operate. And that's the off and on switch. So I'm going to dive into it and see if I can clean up these contacts and get it to operate. These two switches work. So I'm halfway there. So it came out good. I was able to fix the switch down here. It was just full of dirt and corrosion. It's all beautifully cleaned and all lubricated with electrical lube, and then I detailed and painted and did everything to it. So there it is. It looks nice. The rear caliper's mounted. The master. And now I'm working on the air box. The new filament. Now I've got the drain hose all cleaned up, ready to go. You'll want to make sure and grind down the paint where the coil grounds to the frame. It really helps. I think it does. I mean, I just always do it. And I'm retapping the holes just to get any rust out of there. So everything's conductivity is really good. They re-chromed this. This is really the only bright work on this bike. And they did a fantastic job as always. So that's been mounted, the grab bar. But I wanted to show you the air box also. And look at the gold, and then the silver, all the detail. The air box is all in. Now it's got holes in the top, and I might end up getting one off of eBay replacing it, but for now it's fine. So we've got pretty much everything in the back here done. And when I went to mount the rear parking brake cable, I found out I ordered one for a 350X, and it's about 8 inches longer. So got a new 200X one ordered. And you can see the chain sliders here. And the coil and all of the electronics are mounted here. And I've got all of the handlebar pieces on. Everything's working really well. Got the bar ends on, cables, so to speak, and levers. This has been all reworked. And I've got the sticker for here. I'm not going to put it on till a little later once I've messed with the cables on both of these. But this is all renewed, all black again. Now they were black originally, but time fading turned them almost silver. Got that. The whole front end is really come out super. So this is a good time to end this video because I'm really striving to make them shorter. But as you can see, I've got the next step is basically to clean up the rear wheels and tires and the rear hubs. You can see I've got, that's what they're looking like now. I've got to get them nice and black and get the new lug, the stud in there, get a new stud in there, and get this to become a roller, because I really want to use this lift. It doubles as a workbench, and it works so well because you can adjust the height. So I'm gonna just give you this little walk around, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing and where we're going to go on the next video, starting with the tank. So the tank is really, 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 really straight. I mean, it's just so perfect. I doubt I'm going to even have a use of any body filler at all. It's just so nice and straight. And the inside was not bad, but with any of these, there's quite a bit of rust. There's always some rust in these tanks. And you can see that I have, with the vinegar, see if I can get this to kind of shine in there. You can see the vinegar has taken almost all the rust off, and then I've got the drywall screws in here and lacquer thinner, and I'm just shaking. I walk by it, I'll shake. And, it doesn't have to be pristine or perfect, because the Caswell tank sealer, I ordered a blue, royal blue, because normally I'm doing the clear, and the clear is good, and it's shiny, it looks really nice when you're done. But because there's so much blue on this bike with the fork legs and the blue seat, I thought it would really be nice to have the inside of this tank lined in blue. And the question is, do you line it first or do you paint it first? And I'm going to go with the liner first so that I'm not handling the tank. That just seems like the obvious way to go. So that's going to be the end of this video, and from there on the next one we're going to just start out right here with the tank, lining it and painting it as we wait for the cylinder head to come back from it being all new and machined. And then we'll get the motor up here, clean the bottom end of it, paint that semi-gloss engine black. So for now, we are at a great stopping point, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. So here's another one for you guys in Shingletown, and I will see you on the next video.